Support for WUWM podcast comes from Life Navigators, your disability partner, offering disability services for over 75 years. More on their family resources at lifenavigators.org or their helpline, 414-774-6255.
From 89.7 WUWM, Milwaukee's NPR, this is Lake Effect. I'm Joy Powers. Milwaukee Bucks star Giannis Antetokounmpo is leaving Milwaukee. Today we'll learn about his immigration story from Nigeria to Greece to the Cream City. Then we'll explore the many versions of the iconic song Summertime.
It's these great, iconic American woman singers that very much define this song. It's got this very much this quality of sort of like your mother singing it to you, like a lullaby.
Plus, our friends at Radio Milwaukee share their recommendations for Week 2 of Summerfest.
She is a fun artist to watch. She is like going to an actual show. It's not a recording artist coming to your city to perform. She is a performer, so you got to be in the building for Sudan Archives.
All of that is coming up on Lake Effect. This is Lake Effect from 89.7 WUWM, Milwaukee's NPR. I'm Joy Powers, and thank you so much for joining us. Giannis Antetokounmpo is leaving Milwaukee. The Bucks star has been traded to the Miami Heat. The Greek Freak has been with the Bucks since 2013 and helped lead the team to an NBA championship in 2021. While his time in Milwaukee is coming to a close, today we're going to explore how he came to live in the U.S. and Milwaukee. Giannis migrated from Nigeria to Greece, then to the U.S. After the legendary Game 6 in 2021, Giannis said this at the press conference.
I give people around the world, from Africa, from Europe, give them hope, that it can be done. It can be done. 8.5 years ago, before I came to the league, I didn't know where my next move will come from. My mom was selling stuff in the street. And now I'm here, sitting at the top of the top.
Hermite St. Jacques is an assistant professor in the Department of African and African Diaspora Studies at UWM. In 2021, she spoke with former Lake Effect producer Mallory Chang about Giannis's immigration story.
What does the process of migrating from West Africa to Southern Europe look like in current day?
In current day, it's precarious migration. And I say that because there are few legal avenues for migration. Lots of the migration is undocumented, unauthorized. Many potential migrants go through a long journey, especially going through the Sahara Desert. People are at risk of getting smuggled, trafficked, etc. So it is dangerous now. However, that transformed. The time Giannis' parents migrated to Greece in the mid-1990s, it was still easy to come into Southern Europe. I'm not sure about his parents' background in terms of how they got to Greece, but usually you can come legally through a tourist visa and overstay your visa or a business visa. You can come in unauthorized through North Africa, go through Turkey and get into Greece, or you can come through with false documents. So there are different ways of coming. One thing I want to say before I begin about Southern Europe, many of these countries were emigration countries. These were the poorer countries of Europe, and people would leave those countries looking for better opportunities in Northern Europe. What happens with the European community in the mid-1980s is a transformation of the economies of Southern Europe. You have large tourism industry that demands service sector workers. You have agriculture that also demands labor. You have Northern Europeans who come to retire, who also need domestic service types of labor fulfilled. And so there is a demand for immigrant labor. And when I'm really talking about economic migrants. I'm not talking about refugees, because that's a whole different story in terms of their rights, et cetera, to enter a country, et cetera, compared to economic immigrants. One of the issues is the economic recession in 2008. that impacted a lot of the Southern European countries. And so when I think of Giannis and thinking about him as a teenager, this was around the time for anti-immigrant sentiment happening because of this recession, right? When people are out of work, there's economic crisis, we usually scapegoat the immigrants. It's the immigrants' fault that we're having this situation. And in reality, the immigrants are doing the work that many natives don't want to do. People are looking for a livelihood. People are looking for opportunity. And where they can get that, that's where they're going to go.
So in the United States, we generally think about Europe being homogeneous. If you're Italian, you're a white Italian person. If you're Greek, you're a white Greek person. But we generally don't think of those places as diverse, non-homogeneous places. With people who are not white, who are immigrating to Southern Europe, such as Western Africans into Southern Europe, what does life look like, and what does the process of citizenship look like?
Life is, I would say, precarious because you don't have steady work. You're in the informal economy, and no one's paying your Social Security, etc. So you are in a very marginal. I think on our end in the US, when we look at Europe, we see homogenous, right? But these are not homogenous communities. Italy, especially, there is tensions between or cultural differences between Northern Italians and Southern Italians, So these aren't homogenous communities, especially thinking about Spain, thinking about Catalonia. But the thing is that most European countries don't have birthright citizenship. So if you are born in the country, but your parents are not citizens, you are not a citizen. On the one hand, with Giannis and his family, if he wasn't granted Greek citizenship, his parents could have probably applied for Nigerian citizenship for him. What that does, though, parents are reluctant to do that because that might close the door on his eligibility to get Greek citizenship. Technically, many children of immigrants born in many European countries don't have citizenship. They are stateless just because they don't have a country of citizenship. Giannis is lucky in the sense of, here's a super talented person. And I think the Greeks didn't want to lose out on having someone represent them, right? He's an amazing, fantastic person. I think the thing is you have to be exceptional in a way, unfortunately, for citizenship.
And I think about it in the context of the United States, where there's some parallels there, I would say. Mm-hmm. Now I'm just going to narrow it in a little bit. According to census data, the state of Wisconsin is approximately 85% white. So I just want to ask, what is the social significance of Giannis, who is a Nigerian Greek now living in Wisconsin, who is the face of the Milwaukee Bucks? What does that message mean now?
I think it speaks to the complexity of identity. As you mentioned earlier, when you think about Greece, you don't think about Africans, but you have Africans who are Greek citizens. You have second generation children, right? The children who are born and raised just like Giannis, who speak fluent Greek, right? Who can flow between their, Yoruba or Igbo culture to the Greek culture, etc. I think it challenges us to think about what it means to be from Milwaukee, what it means to be from, Athens. And I think that's a good thing. I think it needs to, with the mobility here. And I could actually even make it more complicated. If we just go back to a century from now, when we think about all these different white ethnics, right? Now we say, 80% white, et cetera. But thinking about Italians, Poles, Germans, it's not like people thought of themselves as white back then, right? They do now, right? And so thinking about those kinds of differences. But I think when we think about migration, especially coming from Southern Europe, Africans have been migrating in significant numbers since the 1990s. So you have second, maybe even third generation. That challenges our ideas. Who is Spanish when we think about that? Who is Greek? And so you could say that about Milwaukee or Wisconsin in general. The classes that I teach a class on the psychological effects of racism. And I have students who are of Latinx descent or who are biracial and coming from Green Bay or coming from northern Wisconsin and talking about being the only person of color in their class and, the challenges that they had. And at the same time, people don't see them as representing where they came from. And I tell them, you know what? That is a limitation on that person defining you based on some limited perception that they have, right? Don't let that limit who you are and how you see yourself. Identity is fluid. Identity changes, not only temporal, but place, etc. So I think it just challenges us all to think differently, and that's a good thing.
And Giannis has also spoken too about the multitudes of his identity and the ways that he moves throughout Greek culture, Nigerian culture, American culture. So I just want to ask this too. What does that say about where we're moving as a country where we have all these multitudes of identity and space?
Here you have someone, for example, Giannis, right? He moves through a Greek culture space. He moves through a Nigerian cultural space. We could think about Igbo, Yoruba. He is here in the US and definitely moving within an African-American, a Black space, and thinking about his partner, his children, and how that adds also to the diversity, right? I think that, many of us move through different cultural spaces and fluidly. And sometimes there might be some tensions or, conflict, but most of the time we do it. And it's not superficial. And I say this to say people seem to traverse these different spaces and it's part of who they are. I am also an immigrant. My parents are from Haiti. And I grew up in South Florida. I came to the US when I was 4 years old. And I think that sparked my interest in migration and looking at cultural change and generational differences and change. We think about diaspora and thinking about people abroad. I think about just my own history and how, I can speak Haitian Creole, how I could speak English, how I feel these multiple identities. And sometimes there's a tension just in terms of when I'm not accepted or people don't think of me as an American. And I'm like, so what is it to be an American, right? I'm a naturalized citizen. So I think those issues, what attracted me to these ideas and topics was my own personal history. Thinking about just, having a hyphenated identity. I think of myself as Haitian American. And that also includes being Black as well. And I say that because when people see me, they see a Black woman. Here I am in Wisconsin. When I go South Florida, where I grew up, I'm very much immersed in a Haitian American culture. Right? Speaking Haitian Creole with some English, eating Haitian food, et cetera, very Haitian diasporic experience. When I'm here in Milwaukee, where there are just a few Haitians, I'm very much immersed in an African-American culture. We, in our own lives individually, just move through these different cultural spaces, and it's part of who we are.
Hermite St. Jacques is an assistant professor in the Department of African and African Diaspora Studies at UWM. She spoke with former Lake Effect producer Mallory Chang in 2021. Do you need some flexibility for when you listen? You can listen to Lake Effect on demand. Find it as a podcast wherever you like to listen, to download and enjoy on the go. In about 20 minutes, we'll look at Summerfest's lineup for the weekend. But first, in honor of the official start of summer, we're exploring the iconic song Summertime and its many iterations. That's coming up next on Lake Effect on 89.7 WUWM, Milwaukee's NPR. You're listening to Lake Effect on 89.7 WUWM. I'm Joy Powers. This past weekend marked the official start of summer. To mark the occasion this week, we're exploring the classic song Summertime from the opera Porgy and Bess, written by George Gershwin. There are countless renditions of Summertime, making it one of the most covered songs of all time. Yesterday, we learned about the history of the song from opera singer and Milwaukee native Jason McKinney. Today, WUWM's Mayan Silver is discussing some of the many versions of the song with Milwaukee bandleader and arranger Dave Wake and former WUWM reporter and jazz enthusiast Chuck Quirmbach.
So I'm a musician. I was raised in a house of musicians. My father was a musician. There was always music being played, sung, being performed, as a family at my house. And this song is just kind of synonymous with my youth. It's a very, very popular song.
My dad used to sing that song, used to sing Summertime to my brother and I when we were kids. Like, I have very strong memories of him just, like, sitting in the doorway and singing that song.
Yeah, likewise. It does bring me right back to my childhood in a way of that same thing, my mom or my dad singing it.
Yeah. Chuck, what do you want to add anything?
I would just say the song by Gershwin and DeBose Hayward is a sort of a symbol of my personal growth. I'm learning of, as I got as a kid, Billy Stewart's version of Summertime, and then going back and going to college and being taught about Billie Holiday and Miles Davis.
Gosh, there's so many places we could start. Well, I'll just surprise you guys. Here we go.
Well, Paul Desmond's tone, you can pick it up. It's just so unmistakable. He's got such a rich. Of the saxophones, alto is not my favorite. It has to be someone special. And you look at Paul Desmond, and he embodies the way that alto saxophone should be played. His tone is so unbelievable.
And there's something so summer about it. Like, it's just so smooth. It's really good driving music because you never want to get mad at other drivers when you're listening to Paul Desmond. What's your take, Chuck?
I had the great benefit of 4 semesters with Richard Davis, the UW-Madison jazz professor, also jazz professional, internationally known bassist. But I took 4 semesters of jazz appreciation, if you will, with him, where we learned about Desmond and the West Coast cool and East Coast hot and so on. And Desmond just embodies that West Coast cool.
Nice. Okay.
Well said.
Cool. Then we've got another one of your picks, Chuck. We've got this. What do you think?
Well, obviously, Miles, it's got that tone, that muted Miles tone. That again, it's funny because that's the East Coast cool. It could be, it's just his tone is so buttery. And one of the most amazing things about this recording in particular is you listen to those backing horns. Just the way they're shaped, just the way that the arrangement's shaped. with this like right out front Miles horn, and then background you get these really like soothing, calming, like harmonized horns that are just kind of like laying right in that mix. I mean, you got that ride cymbal just kind of it just kind of holds everything together, and then right in that little box is these backing horns that are just like it's a beautiful
So
recording.
smooth.
Yeah, beautiful arrangement.
The almost the percussion is like it's right there, almost taking more attention than the horns even.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, the genius of Davis and Gil Evans, who worked with Davis on this album, just the way the song lends itself to so many different interpretations and so many good ones. And it was a classic, and we should mention that we are talking about this at about the 100th anniversary of Miles Davis's birth.
Wow, yeah.
Something more to celebrate. Besides Summertime, it's Miles Davis at 100, if you will.
Cool. That's very cool. Okay, these are some more deep cuts that in the jazz realm of Summertime. This is one from Avishai Cohen.
Summertime, and the living is easy. Fish are jumping, ooh, and the cotton is high.
What's the musician's ear say about this one?
Well, obviously, when you're the task of a musician covering a song that's so popular or something that's so well known is trying to do your own take on it. Melodically, it's very true to the original song, but then everything going on with the rhythm section is kind of reinventing it, which is really interesting.
Oh, you're gonna rise up singing.
And Avishai Cohen, he's a bass player, first and foremost. I mean, I think he was singing there. I'm not sure if it was him, but the bass line in that is very pronounced.
Yes, very much so. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, pushing it for sure.
I could be mistaken, but I hear the Israeli influence, the Middle Eastern influence in his performance of that. It really adds something nice.
Yeah. There's one more jazz version that I want you to hear. This is by a guy named Yaron Herman. Very delicate. What do you think? It was like basically one guy on piano.
Yeah, just solo piano. So, yeah, much like in the Avishai Cohen version where he pushed the limits with the rhythm section and kind of kept the thing. This is complete reharmonization using the melody, and you can really hear the influences. What's this artist's name again?
Yaron Herman.
Yaron Herman. Yeah, you can hear influences. I mean, you can hear Oscar Peterson, you can hear Errol Gardner, you can hear the old, like almost in the stride stuff even, but it's just those chords where he's really just the big voicings where he's rolling them out. And then these reharmonizations that are like reminiscent of like Ahmad Jamal, Keith Jarrett, bringing a lot of influences into a very unique, super interesting version for sure.
And it's hearkening back to almost the essence of the song, the melody itself, because it's this very emotionally soft thing.
Yep, lullaby, totally.
Lullaby, yeah.
It's the sort of song I'd like to listen to in the very early morning of a soft summer day or the very late evening of a soft summer evening.
Nice. Well, Dave, you had a bunch of nice deep cuts from really great stuff. I love this B.B. Seaton, Summertime.
Yeah, that one's really good.
Summertime, and the living is easy. Fish are jumping, and the cotton is high.
What do you think?
I mean, it's great. That bass line drives it so nicely. And it's that like kind of crooner, that Jamaican crooner era where there's this really great singer.
So hush, pretty baby, don't you cry.
Again, and socioeconomically, the nature of the song in Jamaica and music, like very happy music, and kind of in a place that is, is rife with poverty and inequity, stuff like that, and having the song that sort of straddles those two worlds. It's poignant. There's quite a few reggae versions of this song, but yeah, it's a beautiful version for sure.
Continues my lifelong education in music. I had never heard of a Jamaican or reggae version of this before, and it's beautiful.
Definitely. This is Lake Effect. I'm Maayan Silver, speaking with Dave Wake and Chuck Hornbach about the epic and much reinvented song Summertime. On that note of just interesting versions, this is a Sarah Vaughan UFO remix.
Wow. It's gorgeous.
Genius of Sarah Vaughan endures, and with a modern twist.
Yeah.
Nice.
I love the strings on that version. They're so good. It's amazing. It brings you right back. Yeah. But no, that is the kind of electronic music I do like. I mean, it's like some of the faster like house stuff, but that stuff like that's like that slow down tempo stuff where it really kind of ties in, connects the samples it's using.
Yeah.
It's kind of modern stuff.
A little drum and bass almost.
Yeah, a little. Yeah, I mean, again, the dub influence that we were talking about before.
There's some great like Latin jazz versions of this. So Dave, you had submitted one of them by Mongo Santa Maria. Here we go.
You got that weirdo in there. The cha-cha bell. Tink, 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 tink. But this one's a variation. Tink, 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 tink. It's got like a little variation bell. So, I mean, obviously, at the time, Mongo Santa Maria, it's like you have the rules of those rhythms. And then when creatives get a hold of them, it's all about like what Herbie Hancock, seeing him in concert a couple years ago, he said, I love when I learn new rules so I can break them.
Mongo Santa Maria, being from Cuba, nothing says year-round summertime like Cuba.
Exactly. Yes, indeed. And then we're jumping over to Ray Barretto. Here we go. Do you know this version?
I'm not sure if I do.
All right. I love stumping
Excellent.
Dave.
Yes. Lay it on me. That's beautiful. I love the pizzicato coming from like the violin or whatever is going on, like just underneath it. Dun, dun, ding, dun, dun, just, and then strings. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's very much cha-cha style, but yeah, it's gorgeous.
First of all, like, which one of these tracks do you think you'll be jamming the most this summer? And what are you most looking forward to in the summer?
I mean, that Ray Barretto version is really nice. I want to dig into that deeper. It's reminding me too, just like real quick aside, just all the amazing like Sarah Vaughan, Billie Holiday. There's so many good versions from like Mahalia Jackson. I mean, there's
Ella Fitzgerald.
Ella's version. It's these great iconic American woman singers that are just kind of very much define this song. It's got this very much this quality of sort of like your mother singing it to you, to like a lullaby, you know. And so that it just reminds me that that's the visiting those on like a on a summer night, like Chuck, you were saying about listening to that piano music, like either like at the end of a long summer day, at the beginning, in the morning. It's like stuff like that. It's such a good feeling of summer, you know, especially with the early sunrises and the late sunsets. Yeah, you know, something that just brings it up is like there's nothing like a summer thunderstorm, like the smell of the rain when it first hits and stuff like that. That just sort of like, and again, it's like it embodies like all the melancholy and the fact that it's life-giving water coming. So it's sort of like, much like the song, it's kind of all of it wrapped up into one for me. I really do love those moments in summer, like right before when you're watching a storm roll in and then it kind of hits.
Poetry. Nice.
For me, summertime is the greater daylight and finding shade when you need it.
You're a big bicyclist.
A little bit, and yeah, knowing the routes that are a little shadier, going through a green sort of canopy, then back out into the sunshine, then hopefully a little bit more shade down the way. It's a nice combination. But yeah, the nicer temperatures, fewer, you know, layers that you're wearing and so on, just being out in it. And the song is a perfect accompaniment to it.
And for a bonus take, we listened to Chuck's favorite version.
Okay, Chuck, what I actually don't have your version. Tell me again. Billy
Stewart. Stewart.
A summertime and the living is easy.
Oh, of course. Yes, the true student of the 60s. Yes.
Yeah, this is the 60th anniversary of that song, and I heard it on the radio back either WOKY, WRIT, one of the commercial stations playing rock in the 60s, and just like there's certain songs or certain versions where the non-musician like me just has to stop and say, what did I just hear? I need to hear it again. I mean, much easier than these days than asking a DJ to play it again 60 years ago, although they did that occasionally, but just I need to hear that again because it was so cool.
Yeah, that's excellent. And it's kind of like, it's slightly different, but like in the feeling gives you, there's the Zombies version of it is just much more, this is much more instrumentally driven, but it's like, it's sort of, and it kind of like dates it in the best way too. When you hear that, it kind of just, it puts a time and place of like an era that just comes out, and the Zombies version has that too, where it's like, it's just so cool. Like you said, it's just, that's a great version.
Yes, well, we're closing the books on summertime. I mean, I guess it's just getting started, but our discussion of the song Summertime is now closed.
It's excellent. May it inspire further deep digs on it, because there's so much. I mean, we could barely touch on even a small part of how much is going on with like the legacy of this song. So that's maybe one of the more interesting points about it. It's just, it's a deep dive.
Yes.
I was going to say, if you're an older person, hopefully the discussion prompts you to go back and find some of these versions. If you're a younger person, go back anyway and learn something, and as I say, take it a different direction if you're a musician or even just a music fan.
Chuck and Dave, thank you so much for sitting around and talking to me about summertime.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
That was Milwaukee keyboardist, bandleader, and arranger Dave Wake, and former WUWM reporter Chuck Hornbach, speaking with Mayan Silver. When we come back, we'll share some Summerfest recommendations from our friends at 88.9 Radio Milwaukee. That's next on Lake Effect on 89.7 WUWM, Milwaukee's NPR.
Listen, baby, I don't want you to die. Pretty baby, child, don't let a kid, don't let a tear.
This is Lake Effect on 89.7 WUWM. I'm Joy Powers. Summerfest kicked off last weekend, and the second week of the festival begins tomorrow. To help you plan for this weekend of Summerfest, our friends at Radio Milwaukee are here to share their recommendations. Element, Everest Blanks, and John Adler join Lake Effect's Audrey Nowakowski to talk about the music and what sets Summerfest apart from other music festivals.
So we're coming up on week 2 of Summerfest, and you're here to rep the Radio Milwaukee recommendations. And Element, let's start with you. What are you most looking forward to for this weekend's shows?
There is so much great music that is coming to Summerfest that you can actually hear on Hyphen, which for me is very exciting because we don't get a lot of the Hyphen artists that come here. We are one of those canaries in the coal mine. So, if you hear it on Hyphen, all of a sudden, 2 years later, now they're the biggest stars in the world. So it's exciting to have these artists that are a part of our new music discovery platform to actually be at Summerfest this year.
Absolutely. And we're going to get into some of the artists a little more in depth. But for your quick hit recommendations, where should people start? Let's start with Thursday the 25th. Thursday the 25th,
you got to start with Robert Randolph. He is one of those artists that is so universally loved because he's a great musician and a perfect example of an artist that blends genres. He's gospel, he's blues, he's funk. He's worked with so many different artists like Dave Matthews, all the way through Beyonce. You got to give some love, Midwest love, to Common, who's coming here. Common is one of those artists that we used to see quite a bit at Summerfest, so it's nice to have him back and kind of show these young hip-hop artists the shoulders they're standing on. Common is great. We got Big Daddy Kane. When we're talking about legendary hip-hop artists, John Adler's smile just went through the roof because we both understand the level of Big Daddy Kane's lift when hip-hop was founded. So all of these grandchildren of his are running around making hip-hop music, and now you get to see the source.
Rappers stepping to me, they wanna get some, but I'm the Kane, so yo, you know the outcome. Another victory, they can't get with me, so pick a BC date, cause you're history.
And then Milwaukee's own Gemini Gilly, who we get to work with every day, John.
Gemini all the time.
Yeah, she is one of those DJs that we are lucky to have, that we don't realize is a real gift to the Midwest. And she travels so much because people understand she is a jewel. She's a gem, and we get to work with her every single day. So she's going to set a party off on the 25th of June.
Incredible. And for Friday the 26th, a few acts you're thinking to keep an eye out for.
It is all about having fun. On the 26th, you got Sudan Archives, which is an artist that never likes to stay on stage. She's infamous for jumping out into the audience, playing her violin upside down or doing the splits in the middle of the crowd and dancing with them.
She living in the hills, she don't worry about a thing. Said he give her dollar bills. No Biggie got a Benz. We used to kick it at your crib when you stayed in Topanga and you couldn't pay rent. So we meditate.
She is a fun artist to watch. She is like going to an actual show. It's not a recording artist coming to your city to perform. She is a performer. So you got to be in the building for Sudan Archives. Mr. Mondo, DJ New York, they're going to keep you dancing as well. I've seen DJ New York, so you'll never be bored whenever you see his name on the bill.
Which is great. And then Saturday the 27th.
Oh, my goodness. Pawpaw Rod, he is a global sensation, right, John?
We are playing him, and he's so much fun, so much in one song.
Yeah.
So the stage, I cannot wait. I cannot wait for the stage performance.
Yes, and Gene Dawson, he is one of those universal artists as well that blends genres. His mother, Mexican-American, his father, African-American, so he's always lived between these two worlds. And he is a perfect example of an artist that does not think about genres. They just make the music they make, and their audience will continue to follow.
Darling, if I die, would you bring me flowers often? Darling, if I killed a man, would you by the coffin. Darling.
He is a punk, hip-hop, rock, indie alt, but also very smooth and sensitive type of artist. And then you have Milwaukee's own King Solomon. And this group is so legendary that they were one of the groups I looked up to when I was growing up as an artist in the city. And they're still making incredible music after all these years, after some of the losses that they sustained, that music kept moving. And they are a perfect example of how Milwaukee, when you have a foundational group that helps create the soundtrack of your city, it never really goes away. We always honor them, and we'll be honoring them this year at Summerfest.
Beautiful. And John, going to your recommendations, what are some quick hits you'd recommend for Thursday?
Thursday, 10 p.m., the band Kaleo, an Icelandic band, going to be playing Miller Lite Oasis. Just years and years of hits and hits, no dip in their career. They've been to Milwaukee several times, old 97s, and time economy is a big thing with Summerfest. I know you go to a show and you kind of unplug and you don't think about time. Summerfest is a little bit of a different animal because where things are located on your schedule is really important. So the fact that old 97s, who have been around for 30 plus years, are playing at 5:15, which I think they know their crowd. That's
They're coming early.
Which is great. Which is
That's
perfect.
true.
I got a time bomb in my mind, Mom. I hear it ticking, but I don't know why. I call the police, but they don't like me. I hear them whispering when I walk by.
The Mountain Goats also on Thursday night at the Aurora Pavilion at 7 p.m. And finally Thursday, a Chicago band called Sincere Engineer, a beautiful, hardworking DIY band, kind of a punk, kind of rock.
I ran a red light just to see you sooner. I got a speeding ticket from a state trooper.
And I looked at the rest of their tour schedule, and it is just day after day after day. They get in the van, they go to the next city, and that's the kind of thing you love. So I'm guessing a band like that that's close to home will kind of love being practically a home show. Friday night, it's get all your friends from the late 90s and 2000s together and go see Goldfinger
Yes.
at 10:30 p.m. at the Miller Lite Oasis. Oh, there'll be 2 or 3 sing-alongs. You'll see your old high school locker mate, possibly. What happened to her? What happened to him?
All the Smallwalkie.
All the Smallwalkie is back. Beautiful band. The Revivalists out of New Orleans are playing at 9:30 Uline Warehouse. Wonderful band. Lead singer does his solo stuff, but as a band, they are huge. I think there's 7 or 8 pieces all together, and it is a very New Orleans feel to it.
I wish I knew you when I was young. I could have got so high. Now we're here, it's been so long. 2 strangers in the bright light.
You can feel it again. They take the whole stage. They do not stay in one place. They are out there. It is a party. It is what you want a festival to be, which I love. Big Wild as well, playing Generac Power Stage at 7:30 on Friday, is going to be a blast. Simply put, no more adjectives. And then Saturday, great Milwaukee band Fuzzy Surf playing early, 2:30 at the Briggs & Stratton Big Backyard Stage. A fun kind of almost nerd rock band. They make some of the most creative videos, and I realize you're not going there to see videos, but they know the stage presence. It's more than just music.
Do you wanna go for a drive? To a place where I know I can hide. 'Cause it knows me inside and out. It sounds fun. Find out what I'm all about.
It is a kind of a full experience, and I love getting, again, the Milwaukee talent front and center. I know there's always conversations about, what if there's a local stage? No, I want them butted up against national acts, so these national acts go, what are you guys doing next year? Would you want to open for us again? Yeah, that's how friendships are made. That's how the business kind of works, which is kind of fun and insane. Another such a talented artist, Vincent Van Great, Milwaukee artist, 2:30 p.m. I'm so glad he's at the T-Mobile stage, a big stage for a guy with even bigger talent. So that would be my 3-day breakdown there.
Awesome. And then one artist that you're particularly excited about is Kim Gordon, and this will be their first Milwaukee show solo, right?
Correct. Thursday night, Briggs and Stratton Big Backyard Stage at 10 p.m. Her first Milwaukee show. She's obviously was part of Sonic Youth and has been at it at a high level for a long time. But again, an artist that she graduated from art school first, moved from LA to New York, started Sonic Youth with her husband, now ex-husband, Thurston Moore. She's a fashion icon. She is musically incredible. But last year, she only played 9 shows. Only 2 of them were in the States. Before that, I think she only played 40 or 50 shows. Before that, 3 or 4 years of only doing less than 10 shows. So to say this is a unique and great get for Summerfest, it's huge. It's enormous. And she has a brand new album out, came out in March, which is incredible, called Play Me. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing her, like everybody, probably for the first time.
Yeah, and now, music is obviously the draw for the big gig, but there's so many things about the grounds, the culture, the people that make it another memorable experience. So we're going to go over some of your favorite things that are about Summerfest that aren't revolving around music. So, Element, let's start with you.
Well, one of the things that I absolutely love is although it's not music related to signing bands or platforming our traditional local bands or touring artists, is the Grace Weber's Music Lab. We have this incubator for growing musicians here in Milwaukee through the Radio Milwaukee brand for high school students. And they will be performing at the AmFam stage.
Incredible.
Yes, on July 2nd. So I am so excited that Grace Weber's Music Lab has brought these budding new artists to Summerfest. And what does that say about your level of talent? If you are a high school student and your first gig is the world's biggest music festival, right? Yeah. So that says a lot, and that gives you a boost of confidence that you can only get by playing Summerfest. The second thing I'm really excited about, as a mom, one of the fun things I love to do when I go to Summerfest is take my twin sons. And one of the coolest things we've ever done at Summerfest was this fire station bus or this truck where they taught them about fire safety. So even though Summerfest is the biggest music festival and we're doing all these things centering music, there's still this aspect of responsibility in our community that kids have access to learn about through this wonderful music festival. And as a mom, I'm appreciative of that.
Yeah, and it's important that it's good for the whole family and people of all ages. Mm-hmm. I remember my mom taking us on the kids' days, and, they have playgrounds for people. Even if you just want to get out and have a nice change of scenery and play at the lakefront, there's something for everybody there.
You can become a kid again here in our city.
Yes. Well, and John, and being a kid again, I would need to muster up some courage to go back on the sky glider, but that's your recommendation, right?
I have a terrifying fear of heights.
But you're recommending sky
Terrifying fear of heights. I explained it to my wife several years ago before we even got married. She goes, you keep on saying you're afraid of heights. She goes, but you always run to the sky glider. I go, I also have a terrifying fear of snakes. But if I met a snake and I knew its name and I knew it never bit anybody, that's the snake I'd like.
Sure.
Sky glider is the one fear of heights that it's the asterisk in my fear of heights. Internally, I just shut down. I just breathe in, breathe out the way you do in a yoga class.
Yep.
Except my legs are dangling and I smell whatever is cooking below me. And sometimes it stops. And that's the fun part. It is very much like life.
Yeah.
It's usually a nice, smooth transition. But when it hits, you swing a little bit. You go, hey, everything's going to be fine. Somebody must have not gotten off right or gotten on right. Everything's going to be cool. In the meantime, let's see what stage we're going to next. So it's function. It's fashion, because you could lose a flip-flop, and there are several that you can. But Skyglide is it's my fear-conquering mode of transportation, and it's the greatest way to get from A to B. I'll do it 3 times usually in an evening.
Yeah.
It's how I get there. And I love people watching, but I'd rather watch people from the tops of their heads.
Love it. Great take.
Yes.
And John and Element, thank you both so much for joining me today to share your Summerfest recommendations.
Thank you.
We'll probably see you at the grounds.
Yeah, you will. Or you'll see us looking down at you.
Yeah, I'll see you.
I'll wave to you in the background.
Element Everest Blanks is the program director at Hyphen. And John Adler is the assistant program director at Radio Milwaukee. They spoke with Lake Effect's Audrey Nowakowski about this upcoming weekend of Summerfest. And that wraps up today's show. Thank you so much for being here with us. I'm Joy Powers. If you missed any of Lake Effect this week, you can find all of our conversations at wuwm.com. If you'd like to take the show on the go, you can download the Lake Effect podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Tomorrow on Lake Effect, we'll learn about an event in the 1950s when millions of frogs invaded a small Wisconsin town. Plus, in a new Chirp Chat, we'll learn about barn swallows and the unique homes they have on the bluffs of Lake Michigan. Thanks so much for joining us right here on listener-supported 89.7 WUWM, Milwaukee's NPR.